Hello, Warriors. How's everyone doing? Alexander, how are you? Had a nice Easter. Ren, GM, Brock, Kevin, Hugo, Michael Schneider. Nice to meet you. Let's take a look around. So, welcome to the anniversary week of FACE. We're beginning our 5th year today of adding value and providing actionable analysis for everyone here for the last 4 years. Not just the team, but also our guests and during our interviews. So I have no idea how many interviews have been done in the last 4 years, but I brought some guests in that have had some excellent macro themes that if you followed them, you did okay. In fact, you did very well. And what we provide every day here as a team in Forex Analytics, it's my hope that um, we've added value. How many years have you guys been here? Looking for the chat. Where is it? Well, it's gone. How many years have a lot of you guys been around here in FACE? I have no idea what happened to it. Anyway, so let's get back to this. So I'm looking at EG right here. So I'm not sure. Let's see. Nope, can't find it. This is called a throw over or throw under in Euro pound. So how do you trade this?
Hey,
Since I
Coach, I
can't
just see
see
your
the
screen,
chat,
buddy.
I don't know if
Coach,
what your answers will be.
Dale?
I keep pressing it and it's gone. Anyway, what you do is you wait for it to get back inside
Hello?
of the
Dale,
Can
wedge,
anybody
inside
hear
of the
me?
formation,
Yes, we can
and
hear
then
you,
you go
Blake.
with it. And wherever the
Oh,
low
Okay.
you
was
can't
with a
hear.
little tolerance, you put your stop there. So we'll see if in the next couple days, Euro pound, which has really been on a relentless decline, uh, look at that from 92. Think we're due. Steve, I can't hear us. Okay. Okay. I wonder why. Check my audio. Not sure. Okay. I guess Steve's going to take over for me for a while. I don't know
Blake,
what's
you want to
going
take
on
over,
with
mate?
my audio.
Blake? Blake?
Yeah, I'm here. I just had to find my
Okay.
unmute button. Hold
Okay.
on 1 second. I was not prepared. Just grab my charts.
You can hear me, Barry? I can't hear. Steve was talking to me. Here comes Blake.
Yeah, Dale, you can't hear us, huh? Can you? No, I'm assuming you can't. So, um, hold on really quick. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody, by the way.
Good morning, mate.
Happy Monday. Happy Easter for those of you that are in Europe that are listening in.
Same to you, mate.
Thanks. So, Dale. So, let's see if we can. Let's see if he chimes in. So okay. It's actually, I got up this morning. It was kind of a slow morning. Sorry, I'm just kind of like getting my bearings straight. The futures are higher, NASDAQ futures are higher, but I guess the thing that I'm looking at this morning is I'm actually looking at the yields, and we've got the 10-year.
I don't even know how to check it.
Let's see, we can still hear Dale, but anyway, 10-year yields are starting to creep up again, and they were just hitting highs of the session, which hasn't really moved the market today, but it's something that you should take note of, because it every time we've seen yields rally like this, we've seen it impact the NASDAQ negatively, and the NASDAQ is actually what's stronger this morning, or has been all night. But a lot of the European bourses are closed today. It is Easter Monday. You got very little liquidity right at the moment. The cable. Oh, I got to show you guys the cable. And I was just looking at the euro pound and looking at the pound dollar. So the pound broke this triangle that we've been monitoring for the last few days. You can see that this is if you're looking at Forex analytics, you can see the initial 4-hour chart from last week. We'd been monitoring and looking for a break above 38.50. Obviously, this morning we broke above that, and it's the same chart here. You can see we broke above that, and now I'm assuming we're going to complete this Gartley pattern, which means a move towards the 139.30 level, basically, in the sterling. So I think that's what we're going to see in the pound, a continued recovery, which, by the way, let me remove this, should be one second, should take us back towards the 50% retracement, which is just above that at 139.50. So that's what I think is on the docket for the cable. Paul said, "Good morning, Blake, and happy anniversary." Is it an anniversary for what, Paul?
Face.
Oh, did I miss the face?
Yep.
What? How many years has it been?
Isn't it 4 years?
Is that what Dale said?
It is 4 years, Blake. Yes.
Wow, 4 years
Yep.
of listening.
You got scared there. You thought you forgotten your wedding anniversary or something.
I did. I was I was actually thinking that. I'm like, damn it, did I?
He was already getting ready for a confession.
I know. I'm like, oh man, I didn't sleep really.
Sorry,
too well
honey.
last night,
I still love you.
So that's crazy. Anyway, 4 years. And was Dale saying that earlier? I had to step away to go get some coffee, so that's why.
Yeah.
4 years. I'm glad somebody pays attention to this. He's like, he's probably a lot like, like my wife. Like, it's been 19 years this year. And I'm like, huh? We've been married how long? Can you say again? No, seriously, like, I'm so bad with anniversaries and birthdays. I'm a very terrible birthday rememberer person. Unless it doesn't pop up in my phone, I'm not going to remember it, pretty much. So anyway, wow, happy anniversary, 4 years. Well, this is actually going to be important that Dale fixes his audio, because he does have an interview today. So, all right.
Yeah.
Back to the markets. So, by the way, let's see. Dale's saying he's writing in to us on our Skype. So, hold on. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I was just I was typing there for a second. To Dale. All right. So again, to me, it looks like the sterling is going to go a little higher, and also, as I mentioned during the week ahead video, that means the euro. That what we need to be watching is we need to be watching the euro dollar on a possible break above this trend line resistance. Now, personally, I don't think it is. It will be everything moving higher. And matter of fact, one of the things that I'm paying really close attention to is I was paying attention to a lot of the euro crosses and how they might be able to be able to move higher off of some of their key support levels near term. And so that's what I'm looking for today. And that, again, I know it's Easter and it's the Easter holiday, and most of Europe is celebrating Easter Monday. And matter of fact, I'm looking at our viewership. It's, we're light today as we were on Friday because of the long weekend. But let me show you just a couple things that I'm staring at. So here's the Euro Aussie. So the Euro Aussie is finding support on this triangle support. And matter of fact, this is about an 78 78% retracement in the Euro Aussie that's coming right into this trend line right here. So the Euro Aussie, while above 154, looks like we can trade back up towards 154, 60 to 80. Euro New Zealand found support at the 618 retracement. Also, you could say it's like horizontal breakout point right through here. So a lot of support down here in the Euro New Zealand. And so I think we're pretty well supported there. And then, you take the Euro Sterling, it just, made a leg lower to the 161% extension. We could get a bounce in the Euro Pound, Euro Sterling. And also Nitish in our chat room. And by the way, Nitish has been in our chat room since, I don't know, I want to say probably 8-10 years, something like that. He's been with us for a long time. He was mentioning about the Euro Canadian and just saying, if it breaks above 148, and I'm like, yeah, the 148 would be a big level for this particular pair, especially given that crude oil is back below 60. So if crude slips back below 60, we could see a nice move in the Euro Canadian as well, and the dollar Canadian might get a little bit of a lift. I'm surprised actually the dollar Canadian's at its lows of the session right at this moment. But this is just its lack of liquidity. So a lot of it is just flow related right now. So Nitish said, yeah, give or take donkey's years, not as old as Rick or Amir, but yeah, he's been in donkey years. Nitish, you've been here for probably about 10 years, maybe something like that. Anyway, he's just chatting to me through our webinar. But all in all, I'm thinking that the euro pairs might get a bounce here, and usually that would coincide with some risk aversion. Obviously, that's not happening at this moment. But if yields continue to strengthen, that might actually end up being the case. So that's just a few things that I'm looking at this morning. Before I bring in Steve and Stelios, I just want to say once again, Merry Christmas, Happy Easter. Hope you guys all had a great, joking about Christmas. Hope you guys all had a great holiday weekend. For those of you, I know there's a lot of people that are out still right now. And hope you guys enjoyed the week ahead video. We apologize for the incorrect video that went out first, but fortunately that issue was solved rather quickly. So I want to bring in Stelios and Steve. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Who are those guys?
Bonjour.
Buongiorno.
Jesus, you murder
What movie
every
was that
language,
from?
man.
You guys
Every
remember
language.
that movie?
especially French. He has something with it, Huh?
Do you remember that movie? That was Brad Pitt. He was
He was a trainer. Is that the one?
No, it was the
Oh,
one
Inglorious Bastards. That's the one
Glorious
you're talking-
Bastards. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Very
was
nice movie.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, yeah.
that was a good movie.
Yeah, it
it
is.
was
And
great.
as all Tarantino movies, good music as well.
It is.
Yes.
Who's the director there?
Tarantino.
Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, Tarantino. It was a Tarantino movie. That's right. So how you guys doing?
Very
Good,
well.
mate. How have you been?
I think I broke my little toe last night, but otherwise I'm really well.
I've told you that you shouldn't go that far in trying, new stuff with your wife.
Hey, come on.
Jeez. Anyway, so I know it's Easter weekend, or it's an Easter weekend, long weekend in Europe. A lot of you guys celebrate Easter Monday.
Not as Greeks, as you very well know, Blake, since we're not
Right.
Catholics.
Right, of course, but for the most of Europe.
True.
Matter of fact, the Greek church, because we drove by it yesterday, it's in between our house and where my father-in-law lives, and just so you guys know, we celebrated Easter in as a family. Here is the first holiday we've seen our family all at once since COVID, the lockdowns, but most of the older folks have been vaccinated. The rest of us, we went and got tested, and so we wore masks for those of us that haven't been vaccinated. And like I went and got my whole family. We went and got COVID tests on Friday, got our results back on Saturday, and then ate at our in-laws outside on Sunday. It was quite nice, actually. So
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But I know a lot of people aren't able to do that, and we feel very fortunate that we were able to do that. But the point I was trying to make is that when we were driving to my in-laws, it was the Greek church was actually packed, and even though it's not Greek Easter.
No
Weird.
comment.
Yeah. I don't visit churches, so I don't know what to say.
Same here.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, hey, let's talk about the markets and what's happening this week. So this week, we have the RBA, which will be actually tomorrow. Well, tonight, if you're in the U.S. But we have Canadian employment later this week. We have some FOMC meeting minutes, but overall, it's going to be we have Canadian jobs report at the end of the week, I think is what I said. Maybe I just didn't say that correctly. So, we have a few things that are happening this week, a lot of European PMIs. Anything that is on the radar for you guys at the moment in the markets? I know it's hard when the market's kind of close or quiet like it is today.
It's also a UK bank holiday today, so.
Well, it's a bank holiday for most of Europe. It's Easter Monday. So
I don't expect anything today.
No, it's pretty quiet. Anything that's on your radar that you guys are looking at this week?
Sorry, the one thing that I'm looking at, and I talked about this in the chat room a little while ago, is euro sterling. And, we're seeing the pound gaining a little bit of traction again. And we've been talking about euro pound, and I actually drew a chart which I've shared in the chat room quite a few times weeks ago. And I was showing that we're pointing towards the big support zone between 83 and 84. So basically sub 84, I think, is a really good level to start getting long if you want to get long euro pound. And we're getting there slowly, right? We're below 85 and we're getting there. So another 100 pips or so. And I think we're going to see some pretty good reaction there. The UK is ahead in terms of vaccinations and stuff, and we're still riding on the coattails of the Brexit agreement from end of 2020. So, there's been a lot of euphoria, even though we do have Brexit, but there's been some euphoria regarding UK, which I think slowly is going to start to ease off now. And that's what I think about pound.
So and so you think that because the are you not convinced about growth in the UK, or do you think that Europe's going to play a little bit of catch up, because you guys have been struggling a little bit as far as you're behind the curve in most of Europe with vaccines and everything else, correct?
Yeah. No, I think I think the general trend is there, but I think we're going to get to a point where it's very, very likely we're going to see a bounce, some kind of a bounce. So from 84 to maybe back up until 80 to 87 or something like that. So I think it's probably worth playing that. But anyway, it's something I'm looking at. I think there's going to be a good reaction at the just below 84, probably. You know, you can't be sure, obviously, but that's what I
believe that things remain annoyingly simple, which is one of the two has to give. Either the dollar's rebound has to give, or the non-stop bid in equities. But both can't continue for much longer. So I'm just waiting to see which of the two is going to give.
Well,
got it. So
equities only go up.
So the dollar has to.
What's that? So the stocks aren't going down, so it's got to be the dollar then.
Listen, so far the dollar's rebound has clearly corrective characteristics, and it obviously can have much room to run as long as equities don't care about anything, right?
Yeah.
Inevitably, flows are going to go off the dollar again. So I think the only thing that can...
I'm sorry, Steve, can you do one? I'm going to try to help Dale a little bit here. Do you mind taking your chart or take the charts? Sorry, guys, I'm going to try to assist Dale.
Absolutely.
He's got his interview coming up. So
yes, absolutely, mate.
Okay.
So what were you saying, Steve?
Let me share the screen. So
we're having the morning edge today in an hour from now. So
yeah,
I'll see you guys there.
Yeah,
all right.
Time,
Thanks.
So so far I was saying that dollar's rebound has clearly corrective characteristics, and if equities don't just finally start a corrective move lower, I don't think it's possible to sustain the dollar rebound, which anyhow is very tepid in comparison to the move lower. So I think that it's going to be very, very hard for the dollar to go beyond, let's say, 95, even lower than that, unless we see some risk off coming through the market. So one of the two will have to give up its rally. And I'm waiting to see which of the two it's going to be. Until that happens, I think that taking positions in the market is more or less gambling, right? Because something doesn't fit here, and we have to go back to a more normal function. So I'm obviously still holding short my USD NOK. I have no reason not to, based on what we're seeing here. The longer it takes for the NOK to consolidate without breaking higher, the higher the chances that it's just going to break lower, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so I think it's as simple as that. Because the more it consolidates here, the more we work out the oversold conditions, and the more free the market is to just resume its clear trend lower. And I think the same applies to the vast majority of the currencies. For me, for example, one of the cleanest current technical formations in the FX market is the cable. Here it is. I mean, so far the move lower is three waves lower, right? Channeled, and as we speak, we're attempting to break above it. I wouldn't pay so much attention to what happens today for the reasons we already mentioned. Very, very low liquidity, holiday type of trading, etc. But we break above here and we sustain it for another 1-2 days. I see no reason why the cable can't push to new highs towards like 144, 143, 144. So the vast majority, even if you look at the rest of the commodity currencies, I mean, here is the Aussie, right? We've been saying about the Aussie's pullback, but so far the Aussies pullback is also extremely orderly in what can be described as a pennant. So, only the Kiwi looks bad, but it's actually the only currency that looks that bad. Everything else you look at, is giving you reasons to believe that we might have more or less finished, producing some type of a corrective move, and we can just push higher. So, as I said before, I think that if equities don't give up being relentlessly bid, the dollar has only days ahead of it before it does. So, one of the two. One of the two. Uh, of course, recent experience would say that dollar will give up, right? Trying to rally. But you never know. If we see some risk off, obviously that's going to sustain the dollar, and it might actually also cause a squeeze, because I'm assuming a lot of people are seeing what I'm seeing. So some people might be trying to jump the gun, trying to already short some dollars here, which from a risk reward perspective, I understand it. I mean, it's not illogical, right? But if we see some risk off, these people are going to get squeezed off, and that's going to help the dollar rebound, stronger.
Yeah.
Now,
and the dollar DSI is at 60, so it's not
there you go.
the middle of the ground.
So that means that has also, like, in essence, sentiment has also, like, gone back to neutral, which means that I see all the possible reasons why the dollar's downtrend might resume. Not to forget of the most important reason, that fundamentals do 100% favor a continuation lower in the dollar, right? And the reasons for the rebound so far were mostly technical, sentiment, positioning, so on and so forth. So unless we see something happening with equities, I find it very unlikely for the dollar to go above 95. The dollar index to go above 95.
I agree. The question is, we've been saying this for months, what's going to make equities go lower? We're seeing volatility remain high, relatively high. It's trying to drop now, but remember, we've been saying for the past few weeks that even though equities are creeping higher, the VIX had been at 20 or something like that.
Yeah, and the VIX now has actually broken down, right?
It's broken down now, yeah.
So that can, that opens the door for the next downside area, which is roughly at 15.5. I mean, we can easily be there in a couple of days. Now, the problem with this type of a market is that traders are still left with a very big issue in hand, which is, okay, so what shall you do? I mean, can you actually buy equities up here? You obviously can't. I mean, I'm not saying you can't make money buying equities. You probably have a good chance of buying equities and making money, but it's just chasing an extremely expensive market which hasn't seen a proper correction in such a long period of time, which means that it's a foolish type of trade to take. I mean, you might make money 90% out of 100 doing that, but the other 10 times you might lose a lot of money in very little time, because I've explained multiple times before that these type of markets tend to correct lower rarely, but when they do, usually they do it in a very vicious type of way. I mean, you might see this type of a market move lower 10% in 3 days for any number of reasons, right? I mean, something scares a little bit the market, and then the vast majority of the move happens because a lot of people are trying to exit the door at the same time. And since almost everybody's invested in long, there are not many people willing to buy at these levels. So, people trying to close like profitable positions and or hedge or whatever, they find a very thin market to sell into, and that causes like a big sell-off in a short period of time. So, I don't advise anybody to be buying here. I do think that buying after a sharp correction lower is most likely what you should be doing if you want to be invested in stocks. But chasing up here after an 85% move higher in a year's time, I mean, no,
It's chasing, just like you said.
This is not smart investing. I mean, this is just FOMO, and FOMO is extremely dangerous for your trading account and and your mental health. Yeah.
True.
Well, good.
Hey,
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Dale.
No FOMO for anyone over the next 52 weeks. Who wants to promise they're not going to do impulse trading? I promise I'll be the first. No impulse trading.
I see that the problem is fixed.
It only took me a half hour
to
find the button. Huh?
It's okay.
I am high tech. I'm like Spock on the Enterprise, or Scotty. I couldn't find the engines, Captain.
Beam me up, Scotty.
I'm going to beam up Matt Thistle if he's here for an interview.
Perfect. Beam him up.
DJ, are you here? Can you send me a chat message? I plugged your name in, and I've already had enough technical difficulties. So are you here? I know you tweeted me. Maybe you could send a message here.
I found him, actually.
You got him?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm promoting him as we speak.
Oh, beautiful. It's great to have a producer like Steve Volge.
Okay, I'm asking him to unmute.
Check. Happy anniversary.
There he is.
Check. Hi.
Hey. How are you?
Not too bad.
All right, Matt. This is completes 4 years of doing interviews with great guests like you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you're here for our anniversary week. So I only want accurate forecasting, which you do anyway. So why don't you share your screen and tell us, buddy, what's on your radar coming into this new month, new quarter? You're right about a continuation move in Bitcoin from the last time you were here in a big way. So what are we looking at here? Nat gas. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to kind of do what we always do, which is just kind of start from the macro and work our way down. Okay. Nothing's really changed in the big picture that I see, which is that, we have long-term consolidation by these long cyclical moves up. Coronavirus was a nice expected dip, like 87 and other things. So, I mean, generally, we're playing a risk-on environment. That doesn't mean that there isn't risk or that there can't be recessions along the way and things like that. But it seems to be a buy-the-dip environment. Natural gas is something that we've used as sort of a canary in the coal mine during these sessions over the last couple of years. So quite a long time ago, right around here, we were looking for a push up, which was a natural gas line explosion in Canada. Yeah. After touching the line, we walked it back down for a couple of years, and these green little bars here, I showed for, 6 months, and we got the nice bounce and a nice consolidation pattern here. So in a way, we can look at, confirming this in terms of a risk-on environment. And here, natural gas is, kind of talking about the economy and whatnot. And, even if things just kind of break sideways here, that's still constructive. So that's what we like to see. So because this pattern walked itself down a couple times nicely, here's the bars pattern from here and in here, transposed here in red and green for people to see as, what things will bring. I'm not going to get into it too much, but when in January of 2020, when I was looking for a recession coming, I was looking for more of something that was going to be printed our way out of, with something more notable in 2023 or 2024. So I'm showing this future bars pattern here because we can see that, if we were to hit the top of the trend again in 2023 or 2024, if that pulled back, that could be economic pressures as well too. So those economic cycles are holding as well with this. So I'd like to see kind of up in here into 2023, 2024 and pull back, which is something in here, up in here, which will probably be recessionary.
Is that the Dow chart that you're showing over there, Matt, when you keep going
Yeah,
back
correct.
to risk? Okay.
Yeah, correct. It was.
All
so I would expect to see some sort of recession in this area here, and probably a larger one that tops it off in here. So that's going to be the long-term thing that we have been using as a gauge the last couple of years on the show, and we'll continue to use. We're going to slip our way over in metals here. Gold, I think we've talked about this a lot in the past, the classic Livermore chart where we see a cylinder and a breakout. This isn't necessarily because it's not, sideways and down low, but just the pattern here with the breakout above the cylinder. So it was a nice technical pattern we've seen that is nicely walked its way down. I personally see a distribution pattern in here, followed by 1, 2, 3 drives down. So a 3 drives down with this huge cup could be making a handle in here for a push upwards. Now, originally, I'm not going to say originally, but last year, I was expecting a bit of a pause right around here for that cup and handle. Now we broke through, prices come back down to kind of exactly where they should be. So I like that going forward on gold. I think that if
From that double bottom we have at 1680.
yeah, so if we have this kind of like, push up with natural gas and things come down, and if we do have a little bit of woes in here, then, there's nothing to say that we can't have a giant cup and handle that takes off.
Okay, what would negate that? Would closes back under 1680 negate the handle?
Well, I think that
1600.
Yeah, well, so again, I was kind of thinking that this cup was gonna peter out in here somewhere, and this, kind of blew off due to just like the world environment itself, like sometimes things accelerate. So what I'm looking more for is, like these bottoms and tops here. So to see exactly 1650, 1625 in here kind of hold, same as these lows and highs.
So long under, you like the longs, and would your stop loss be under last week's lows, which was similar to lows that we had prior around?
Yeah, I'm not really a short-term gold guy. I'm just looking for the bigger picture. But if that's if that's what the shorter-term guys say, then sure. I just see that that distribution, 3 drives.
Where would a long-term guy buy gold then? If you're a long-term guy.
Well, if long-term, I guess it's more of a mid-term thing in terms of talking about those pressures, in 2 years from now kind of thing, right? And gold doesn't move as fast as Bitcoin. So really we're just kind of looking for that. If it can scoop here at 16-ish, then that looks good. Especially when looking at silver, because, whether it's the silver squeeze kind of meme or looking at the actual, futures reports at the end of the week, I think there's potentials with silver, which is the reason why people would, play it if gold is going to play out a cup and handle, right? So I just see it kind of like flagging out here on the short term. This spike above here was the whole like GameStop Wall Street Bets thing, and then they
found out it's easier to squeeze an individual stock than a global commodity market.
Right, exactly. So this
everyone was long up there anyway. So I mean, where was the squeeze? Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. So this area here around 25, which was kind of like a technical kind of push above what was forming here as a bit of a flag, it still holds. So even though there was those fundamental reasons going on, that the technical pattern still held well. So if silver can dip down here towards 22, that would be a fantastic area for people to load up if they, if we get a gold cup and handle then silver buys at the bottom of this flag will only, produce, that's going to be at least a double, probably up into all-time highs, and then it would probably pause and shoot through like gold.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a nice look.
Yeah, and then the reason we're kind of
almost
looking,
looks like two drives to me. I was talking to some of my mentees on Saturday, last couple of weeks, and the highs, the two highs that you have, and the last one was a higher high.
Yeah.
So we
Possible.
have two drives, maybe one more shot up.
That would be nice.
Silver. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when we're talking about, a cup and handle here or silver and that kind of risk, it kind of, in a way, goes against this idea, because if everything's going nice and up, then, why should gold continue to go nicely and up? But, when we look at what's happening in the world, we have, countries like Canada piling on the most debt possible, and all the G7 countries, and we are seeing that coronavirus is the dark dot here, or sorry, is the light dot, and the financial crisis is the dark dot. We have spent so much more than 2008 that it's just phenomenal. So we're seeing the possibility for assets to run because of hot money in the system, and we're seeing sort of hedges.
Commodities.
Yeah, and now great segue, because I have
Into
four
the
commodities
dollar?
chart.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
as we were looking at, sugar making pushes, corn making pushes, and even lean hogs here, so whether it's foodstuffs or meat or whatever, we're seeing that all of this, all of this hot money is making an
chasing
impact.
everything.
Yeah. So
Matt, in 2008 or 2000, that people draw some comparisons to. We only had a bubble in NASDAQ.com stocks. We didn't have a bubble in real estate and bonds and commodities. And this is like crypto. It's the everything bubble, isn't it? What isn't a bubble?
Exactly. And, I think that a person that is just trying to use, sound logic to understand why something might be happening is going to say, well, A is happening, so B shouldn't happen, or C is happening, so D shouldn't happen. But like you say, everything keeps going up, which doesn't necessarily always make sense, in terms of, let's call them traditional hedges. And I think that we can safely point towards record debt and on top of record debt. So yeah, it's becoming an inflationary environment. But at the same time, we have people not working, people straddled in personal debt anyway. So we have high national debt, high personal debt. Obviously, personal and national is different. National debt can sometimes work to your favor, but these ridiculously high levels of personal debt with it, aren't helping. So is all this money?
How do you square high record high personal debt with almost record high savings rate?
Yeah. So now
they sound
all
like
that
they're
savings,
the opposite thing,
Yeah. So is all that savings though just the upper portions of the economic brackets, and those people?
Oh, the K, the upper part of the K.
Like that could be where that's coming from, because I don't know. So like my background, coming from music, most musicians have been waiting in the bread line the past year, so to speak, right? Like, it's not the actual line, but, like the government handouts. And so, those people have no savings. And there's a lot of people just, on the bottom of the economic ladder, definitely don't have savings. So if savings are high, that's definitely, the upper brackets. And the people in the middle, I don't really see them deleveraging their debt. So I don't really know. I think that that's kind of an opportunity missed by all these handouts, is like people have been, spending the money and not trying to get rid of their debts. What do we got next? Oh, okay. Now we're on to crypto. Perfect. Halfway through. So right now we've got this nice little kind of pause in crypto. If you were to look on Bollinger Bands, I think there's a possibility for for what's called the 3 pushes, which is different than a 3 drives. It's just kind of when things peter out. And John Bollinger himself said that recently. So it's possible that this could be a top and things are oversold now, and for things to roll off, definitely possible. However, I think that there are a number of large players in the system, like the Bitcoin ecosystem, that have kind of signaled, that that unless something changes on the macro side of things, that there's a lot of bullishness, I think, into the 70Ks. And then after that, if we were to get a push into the 70s and we were to draw kind of a line up here, then we're coming into like blow off territory. So if we were to push into 74, 78, then, a blow off near 6 digits is very possible. So, it could be that we're oversold and we've reached the top and it pulls down, very much so. Or it could be like in here where we're having a little wobble and things are consolidating, and we have that push up to 74, 78, and then if that breaks up towards 100K.
What do you make out of India's? I saw an article about how they want to make it illegal to own cryptocurrency. I mean, does it have teeth, and will it have any impact on prices?
Yeah, I don't really think so, because it hasn't traditionally, and it hasn't in the short term. So it hasn't short term, and it doesn't traditionally in the history of Bitcoin impact price like Russia or China. India doesn't have a huge presence in mining. It's not, in terms of like a per capita GDP per person, like personal wealth, there's not as much there and as much disposable income per person. So whereas something like another country that has a lot of,
like South Korea, if it came from South Korea.
Yeah. Huh? Whereas in South Korea, what we're seeing is taxes going up and a more defined regulatory environment. And they pushed a lot of that. Was supposed to come in last year, and it's going to come in over the course of this year into the start of 2020.
Because Modi does have a track record of, playing with monetary issues and, by eliminating certain denominations of the rupee a few years ago that caused some, some problems for the society. So Modi, it's not beyond Modi to try and do something like this.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. I think in terms of the crypto ecosystem itself, India just doesn't have enough weight to throw around to really impact it. I think it's terrible for the people there. And as I would have to look up more of what's happening, but I know in the past when India was trying to do these kind of like soft bans and throwing it up and down, that it was, like everything is going to be banned, but you can still hold it. Or no, you can't hold it, but you can still do some mining. But wait a second, you can't have any any mining or any blah blah blah. But if you have some in your wallet, it's okay. So who knows what's going to go on? But no, I'm not.
One of our attendees is asking if you have thoughts or you want to share a view on Ethereum.
Yeah, so that's actually next here.
Oh, see,
on the yeah.
All right.
So Bitcoin. So as we transition to Ethereum on the next chart here, what I'd like to show is, so we're talking about this kind of pause in Bitcoin, but what I'd like to draw your attention to in terms of Ethereum is this old Bitcoin high here. If you were to draw this kind of a line across, it would be this area here where it kind of tried to break out a couple times, pulled back, and then went on its run. So Ethereum has a lot of these kind of characteristics right now. If you were to take this is the Ethereum USD high, and come across, what we've seen is kind of like a breakout and a pullback and a little bit of a breakout here. So just like this kind of pause and wiggle, just like in here. So if Bitcoin can push to 70K or 100K, or sorry, 74, 78 or 100, then what we're going to want to, what we will see is other altcoin USD pairs follow. Now, why this is important here for the next 10 minutes of the discussion is that as Bitcoin pulls up off of a bottom, people in the sector and people outside of crypto see Bitcoin move, and they just get into Bitcoin. And a lot of the altcoin pairs don't do very well. So here's, Ethereum following the USD chart up nicely, but the Ethereum Bitcoin chart is just kind of, zigzagging around along the bottom. Now, what generally tends to happen historically in Bitcoin markets is after Bitcoin breaks an all-time high, I'm going to go back and do this. BLX is like a thing of the all-time history and not just one exchange. So if people want to look at a much bigger history, but not be tied to just Bitstamp's price, which ends, over here. So when Bitcoin breaks a high, like here and runs, or here and runs, we often see altcoins do most of their moves up in here or up in here. So because Bitcoin has broken this high and has run and is pausing, I think that if, as Ethereum's USD pair catches up to Bitcoin's USD pair, that we're going to see the Bitcoin, so that we're going to see the Ethereum Bitcoin pair make gains. And I think that we're going to see this a lot now with more altcoins. So I don't want to be the guy that says, if you have no crypto exposure, buy altcoins, because Bitcoin is king, and things can change quickly in crypto, and you don't want to be left overexposed to like penny stocks, right? Yeah. But if you have, let's say, like envision out there like a pyramid, and at the bottom of the pyramid is most of your holdings, which is Bitcoin, and as you ramp up to the tip of that pyramid, you would make smaller and smaller incremental bets on more and more riskier altcoin plays. So, here's your Bitcoin holdings, let's say, and maybe here's your Ethereum holdings, and then here's all the crappy altcoins you're going to buy, and then maybe this is your
You put Litecoin in that crappy at the top of the pyramid, Litecoin?
Maybe not in the top. This would be, things that aren't in the top 100 or top 50 market cap. I would put, Litecoin in here, which is in a couple charts here, I think. Yeah. So
they haven't done as great of a PR job for that crypto, have they?
No, and a lot of those, and a lot of those bigger ones that are older kind of move quickly, and all of a sudden towards the end of a cycle, much like silver will do to gold. Yeah. So, okay, so we're just going to pull it back here. We have this old Bitcoin high here, a little stall as it tried to break through it, and it ran. This is in USD. So we are seeing, I believe, that same thing in Ethereum here in USD. Now, when we look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, I want to rewind us back to the beginning of the interview with this lovely Livermore. Bink, 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 and take off. And I think that it's very possible that we're seeing that bink, 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 and we're going to take off here. Why? Because this ETH USD should follow this BTC USD, and because we're later in the cycle, the Bitcoin pair should outdo.
So now, you're looking for outperformance of Ethereum over Bitcoin for a period of time?
Yes, and I'm also looking at that with some others as well. So now here's two things I want people to really consider, because I think that if Bitcoin breaks into 70, and if it breaks through 70 into 100, everything else is going to take off. Everything else will find their way to run to, and that will be a true kind of mania stage to this, okay? So for people that are less, have less history of crypto, when you see something new, here's Uniswap, new is good because there are less bag holders, okay? So when something is running and it's new, you can buy the dip and go for the run with everyone else, because there's not everybody looking to sell. So how you can kind of do that is go to CoinMarketCap, or I think there's another one like CoinGeek. There's a few of them. You can just start and work your way down the list, and you're going to find some, like Uniswap, that are in the top 10 or 20 or 50 that have totally had their run already. If you're going to play these ones, that's fine. They're up 10 times already. You've definitely got more risk. But if you're playing the breakouts or strong dips, you're going to be okay. But if we come back to this list and find some older ones like Ethereum or Litecoin or stellar, and we'll have a look at those. Well, we're seeing Ethereum's Bitcoin pair, which hasn't outperformed yet. We're seeing Litecoin's Bitcoin pair, which is way down here, and typically at the end of a cycle ends up, you know, at least at 0.01, but usually up around here. So we have multiples to go to the upside. And here's Stellar along the bottom. Distribution pattern, 1, 2, 3 drives, long sideways. And I think that this will break up and follow with those other ones. So again, for newer, oh shoot, I don't want to mess up my stuff here. For newer people, when you see newer coins, you know, you can go for the run because there's no bag holders. The sell-offs are strong, but so are the bounces, so you can get out. Now, if you're looking on
so buy the new IPOs, not ones that have launched that there's already people looking to sell to break.
Yeah, and when you have coins like Litecoins, they're way older. As the price goes up, people want to, you know, cash out if they bought, you know, and have been holding and didn't sell, right? So again, that's what makes those violent and quick and late in the cycle. So now we see these other coins like BTT, BitTorrent that is a bit older. It's been around for a cycle. You know, it's still going too. You know, whether it be the Uniswap, where did I guess I lost it. The Uniswap example, which is a brand new coin running, or if you take BTT, which is a bit of an older coin, not super old, but you know, and it's found a way to go too. So again, I think we're pushing our way into a real speculative mania side of things. People can just go to a top 100 kind of thing and start searching through the charts, and things that I think you're looking for are, you know, accumulation sideways, and you're playing the breakout. You're looking for any of these, you know, low market cap coins, and you're really looking at the volume. I can't stress enough that if, you know, I know penny stocks and crypto are different, but with crypto garbage coins, as soon as you know you're seeing low volume and not a lot of selling, and the price is just kind of going and then all of a sudden here, boom, you know, boom, volume starts coming in. Go for the run because you know
because volume precedes price.
Exactly, and with crypto, you can also look at more on-chain analytics too. And if the same wallet is just piling in coins, a couple $1 million every few days, and that wallet isn't sending anything out, and the chart's just looking green on the volume, like go for it. Like this is your chance. This is only going to happen every couple of years.
Hey Matt, you know, we're starting to run out of time.
Sounds good.
A few minutes, but I want to ask you something that, you know, the story keeps changing. Is crypto, in particular Bitcoin, a hedge against a weaker dollar or a stronger dollar? Because when the dollar's weak, I've seen stories that it's a hedge against a weaker dollar. And early on, most holders of Bitcoin really believed in the deflation part of it, and it was actually there was going to be a strong dollar. So they, you know, they would buy only Bitcoin, but they didn't want to spend their dollars. Am I correct in this, or am I way off base?
I mean, okay, so I guess like a base case is just that. So we'll call them Bitcoin maxis, the Bitcoin maximalists. I think that their kind of viewpoint is that, the value of fiat currency just goes down. And because Bitcoin is a fixed supply, mixed with the fact that that fixed supply is something that people put value towards, makes it that, you know, Bitcoin becomes a hedge against the dollar,
a weaker dollar. Okay.
Yes. Whereas I was going to say, whereas, you know, there's definitely times when it's like the DXY goes down overnight and Bitcoin goes down overnight or goes up overnight, you know, like perfect inverse relationship. And then there's other times where it's just risk on and everything goes, right? So there's two variables. One is that in the real world, we're seeing all this hot money come into the system, so it's got to go somewhere. And damn it, what was the other point? It was variables.
About it, you know, during a period of a strong dollar, it's also a hedge against deflation.
Yeah, and
some people felt that way.
Yeah, and I just don't know if it's really going to play that way. I just think that Bitcoin kind of acted like gold, which is what I said would happen. You know, if we get a strong economic contraction, that Bitcoin's just going to follow. So I think that, you know, at the end of the day, people want to eat. And if they have to sell their Bitcoin or their gold or their Amazon or whatever it is, that's what they're going to do, right? So I think that just, you know, a macro environment that's not too bad mixed with, you know, this, you know, structural, you know, cyclical risk on is positive for Bitcoin. But as we come into any sort of recessionary pressures, I don't think that necessarily is going to hold true. We haven't seen it yet. If it happens, that's fine and that's great and awesome. You know, that would be great to see Bitcoin make that turn. But I don't necessarily see that as a, you know, as Bitcoin is the hedge.
Okay, if you like Matt's stuff, he's showing this is your website, right, buddy?
Yeah, I got a couple things that I do stuff on. So there's the Twitter profile, DJ Thistle01, and then this one is simply therealaltseason.com, and then click the first one here. This gives a background on what alt season is, how often it comes around, and then there's one final article here on how I think people can trade it. So we're really just looking for these long sideways periods with a little bit of breakout. Go for it, you know. And then the other thing is there's a lot of coins that seem to just kind of move like once a year. So when things are, again, just kind of sideways and doing whatever, and you start to see a little volume, then, you know, that's your yearly time to go for a run. Anything that is kind of like here, that's been scraping along the bottom, and then we've had kind of like, I don't know, we'll call it like a protracted Wyckoff spring over the winter. Any breaks above those are coins to look at, because again, some coins have run and some coins haven't. And then I'm just going to finish off with, Litecoin, you know, historically speaking, tends to end up around here and is now down along the bottom. I'm not saying pile in, but these are places where people can find a little bit of risk to take.
Okay, well, you know what? You're a DJ and you spin records. You can certainly spin a chart and a narrative as well, my trading.
Thank you, sir.
So I mean, you know, and many of your calls has been music to people's accounts. So I want to thank you. Thank you for being with us and your giving spirit of sharing, you know, what you see. I appreciate that, Matt, and you know, hope that this year is a great one for you and all the people that you work with, and look forward to having another conversation with you in the rotation down the road. So again, thank you very much for pointing these things out in crypto. It's a little bit undercovered here.
Yep.
And really think that you're one of my go-to guys in crypto. So thank you,
awesome.
DJ.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I just want to say, you know, thanks for everyone that listens and you know, follows after and gets into crypto. And thank you very much for having me on like the 4-year jam here. And look forward to it in the future.
I look to being able to talk to you for the next 4. All
awesome.
right, buddy.
Beautiful.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's a wrap, everyone. I'll see everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. Hope to have some, be able to hear you guys tomorrow when I start the webinar. And don't forget to join the team. Also, if you're watching on YouTube right now, just click the like button or unlike if you didn't like what we did today. Maybe, you know, comment about my weakness with technical issues that I run into every once in a while, you know, and the anxiety attacks I have trying to figure it out. And comments are welcome too if you're viewing our webinars on YouTube. So join the team for the Morning Edge in about 11 minutes. That's a wrap. Remember, don't just count your pips or altcoins or crypto, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone tomorrow for Turnaround Tuesday. Adios.